is starting small. So finding either an hour, an afternoon, something like that that you can say, okay, I can at least give up this amount of time for rest. I can give up working and doing stuff in this amount of time uh, to set it aside for rest with God. And so really focusing in on when is that going to be in my calendar and setting it as an appointment, just like you would anything else that's important, and blocking off that time. I kind of fell out of the habit a little bit of having like part of an afternoon as like Sabbath time set aside for me, uh, because we also had babies at that time. And my husband, we're still talking through Sabbath as a family vibe. We might be good with it during the summer because we have a pool and we'll just want to lay in the pool all the time. But right after the book, at least for a while, I was doing like half an afternoon every week was my Sabbath time. And I tried to make sure I planned ahead of time what I was actually doing during that time. So it wasn't like it got there and then it was like, okay, what am I going to do? And I wind up just laying around watching Netflix. Usually I tried to go for a bike ride because it was summertime at that moment. So I tried to get outside for a little bit. I usually tried to make sure I read a book a little bit. Sometimes I actually took a nap, which is rare for me. Usually I can't take naps because I always feel like there's something else I need to do. But because I had set aside that time and said, this is specifically Sabbath time for resting, for reconnecting with God, refocusing, reconnecting with others, I didn't feel guilty and it was much easier for me to take a nap. So if you're not a napper, maybe that's something that will help you. But I usually napped if there was any people that I was trying to get connected with or something along those lines, I would try and set up coffee meetings or things like that, just to hang out with people or have them over to the house, things like that. And those are probably the main methods because one of my days off is Friday, so I did it on an afternoon. The kids would have been in daycare, everybody else was at work. So it was easier for me to set it aside because there weren't any distractions. I keep trying to figure out how to do this as a family, and thinking about doing it on a Saturday seems really difficult. So it's probably something we need to revisit and figure out how can we make some kind of Sabbath time in our family dynamic. But at least on a personal level, that's how I was doing it for a little bit, and then I fell off the wagon.